All right, we're here to talk about some more advanced bench techniques. And in this video, I want to talk about everything from the setup to actually executing the movement. And we'll start with, like I said, the setup and where your feet are. We'll talk about your whole body all the way up into chest, which is kind of the focus of this movement, and then work through the actual reps that it takes to perform the movement as efficiently as possible. So we'll start with the setup. And obviously you're going to sit down on the bench, and what we want to do is use the bar essentially to pull us into the right position for this movement. So something that I do is I actually lay back down onto the bench, and the first thing I do is I put my hands at the grip width that I use for my conventional bench. If I'm doing a closed grip bench, I'll do the same thing. I'll get my grip first. Then when I have that grip in place, I use the bar to kind of bring the rest of my body into place. So I'll talk you through that. And it starts with the grip and then retracting the shoulder blades and getting the shoulder blades into place. And then from there, I have essentially my entire upper body sturdy and ready to perform the movement. Now, of course, at that point, I'm not ready to perform the movement. There's a lot of other things I have to do. And it kind of goes from the shoulders down. So we'll go from the shoulders to then getting your foot placement and getting your lower body in a place where you're really locked into place, because leg drive is actually a really important part of the bench press. And a lot of people don't think about the bench press being a leg movement, but it very much is, because you are able to use the floor, use your feet and your legs as kind of a leverage to then throw the barbell back up in front of you when it's down on your chest. So we'll talk about that. But the first thing I do is I lay back on the bench and I find my grip width. It's going to be different for everybody. Mine is pinkies on the rings. So I get my hands into place. And then a way that I like to bring my shoulder blades back into place is I actually pull myself up. I retract my shoulder blades up here. And then I kind of nest them into the bench like this. Now, you don't have to do that. However is comfortable for you to retract your shoulder blades and get into place. That's great. A lot of people don't need all that. They can just get their grip here and retract like that, and then they're in place. That's perfectly fine too. So whatever it takes to get your grip and then get your shoulder blades retracted and down and into place and dig them into this bench so that they're not moving. That is what we want you to do. And I will mention something here, since I'm talking about digging my shoulders into the bench. You'll see I have these bands on the actual bench itself. These are just your standard resistance bands, okay? And what I find is that with my bench and with a lot of benches in commercial gyms and whatnot, it's really, really slick. And it's hard to find a way to be able to get your upper body planted into a bench like this and be able to keep it stable. Oftentimes it's really dangerous, but you'll find your body kind of slipping and sliding on this pad. Well, a good way to remedy that is if you have resistance bands like this, you can kind of loop them around the bench so that it provides a rubber surface that will really kind of catch onto your shirt or onto your skin and keep you in place. So with that said, you get your grip, you find a way to retract your shoulder blades, and then I'm going to talk about foot placement next. So once again, we're coming here, we're getting our grip, retracting our shoulder blades, kind of digging them into the bench, and from this, my upper body is going to be in this position the rest of the movement. So I lower my butt down to the bench, and you see with my feet here, it's kind of the last piece of the puzzle. And it's really important that we get your feet dug into the ground and in a way that your feet are not going to be able to move throughout the movement. And a very effective way to create that is to not have your feet out in front of you, not even have your feet below your knees, but actually bring your feet a little bit back behind your knee so that you can push into the floor and that force isn't throwing your foot forward, okay? So you'll see that when I lean back, I have my toes on the ground and I kind of try and dig them down into the ground. It brings my knees out and it brings them back behind my knees. So from there, I'm able to generate force to push the bar forward. So let's go through it again. I'm getting my grip, retracting the shoulder blades, digging the upper body into the bench, then the butt comes down, toes are here, and we kind of get them to where they're not moving. Now, my whole body, I'm not going anywhere. So from here, I can unrack the weight and perform the reps. We come down to just below the pec line, the sternum, and explode back up. And if you watch my lower body, when the bar comes down to my chest, the next thing that happens is I push with my legs to kind of generate the beginning of the force to throw it back up. So look at my legs. That's happening. Now, we don't want our butt coming off the bench, so if we're going like this and then that's not good. And that probably means you're working with too much weight. You want to keep your butt on the bench and use your legs to generate the beginning of that force. That is really the proper way to do this movement, the most efficient way to do the movement, and the safest way to do the movement. So I hope this is helpful. If you have any questions, let me know. Be happy to help you out. But yeah, that's a wrap for more advanced or intricate bench press techniques.